I heard it once said that if you find a job that you like to do, you'll never work another day in your life. And that's the way it has been for me for 38 years. And I'm Roger Baskin, and I'm a chemist with the Environmental Quality Division. The laboratory that I supervise analyzes air samples, water samples, soil samples, almost any kind of sample. But what we're looking for are pollution in the environment, contaminants, things that of course should not be there. The results that we get, the numbers that we get, if you will, are turned into different agencies, these EPA and Department of Environmental Protection for the state. Those numbers are used to generate limits for the point sources, such as the sewage treatment plants, also the various industries. For example, if we're measuring a component that's known as total Kjeldahl nitrogen, which is a combination of organic nitrogen and ammonia nitrogen, it gives us a sense of how much sewage is in our rivers and tributaries. The numbers that we generate are used by the state to calculate limits. And so those industries and point sources are limited to that number. If they exceed it, then there can be consequences. So we've generated a lot of data over these years that have been used in going into those calculations. And it can have tremendous economic impact on the industries as well as the communities. For example, our own city's treatment plants, they have to improve their process based on those numbers. So that's one way it has changed. Other industries in the air pollution field have had to install controls to limit the particulate matter that they might put out. There may be consequences such as vehicle inspections, the emissions inspections that we used to go through many years ago. The amount of pollutants that are being discharged into the river have been reduced tremendously. When I began working in 1972, there were over 500 individual sewage treatment plants in this county. But over these years, they've been reduced now to where they're probably in the neighborhood of 50 or maybe less of what we call point source discharges to the river and its tributaries. So that's a very significant change. In the air work, there's been a vast improvement, especially in the odor area. The odors in the city have been reduced tremendously. So it was a local effort. And our Environmental Protection Board has done some significant things in the past years by instituting local standards, something for which there were no federal or state standards. So the odor work that we did resulted in the reduction of the odor problem. But associated with the odor problem, those industries also had other discharges that you may or may not smell, but could have been harmful to health. But by instituting the controls on the odor, they may have also reduced the impact of those other things as well. Well, I would hope other people, think it's as important as I think it is. We're not, at least I'm not, a tree-hugging environmentalist, so to speak. But I think the waterways have been cleaned up considerably, and I like that. I like nature. I like to travel, go to all the national parks that I can. And here in Jacksonville, we have a lot of natural resources, and I'm glad to have been able to do what I could, to protect that environment and to help bring about some solution to the problems that we had 20 and 30 years ago.